Hello again, everyone, and welcome out to your currency recap. This is Ankit here, and let's begin our market coverage. It's a Tuesday, December the 12th. Let's get into it. It's a very busy week. There's a lot to break down. And let's begin with breaking down today's market price action, taking a look at where the currency baskets are, what the major news events are, and talk about the opportunities in the next 24 to 48 hours. Let's get into it.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
So looking at the market overall, again, nothing really has changed. Today, market had a CPI number, the US CPI. That was mostly in line with expectations. So we did notice a bit of a whipsaw on the news, but at the end of the day, it was not really a big market moving event. Overall, in the equity markets, we remain bullish. So unless we can really get a surprise in the markets that could really move things, it seems like markets looks pretty solid here. Now, here's the snapshot of the currency market. As you can see that in the currency market, it's not really following that risk on and risk off. It's doing its own thing and something to really pay close attention to. I mean, take a look at currencies like the Kiwi, was flat for the day. We are seeing a relative weakness in the Aussie. CAD in the USD, they were actually kind of weak today. And then we had the Japanese yen actually did it a little bit better. So you can see that markets are moving all over the place. So this is where we have to really pay close attention to relative to the weakness. We are seeing relative strength in the euro and the Swiss franc, something to pay attention to. And then along the same lines, we got to pay attention to the yen as well. Now, if you take a look at the global markets, you can see that the equity markets were up today, 0.46%, again, continuing to add on to the gains. Cryptos were down, gold was down slightly, and then we had a big drop in the oil market. So again, seasonality patterns, again, this is where we are just getting one way, getting pushed higher, and things that are struggling, that continues getting pushed lower. That's just really where we are in the markets. And then lastly, the crypto markets has been rock solid for the last few weeks, but then again we are seeing a little bit pullback happening here. So looking at the overall markets, it's a +3. Now +3 is where everything is going for the markets. Take a look at the charts here. We got the 20-50 sloping higher. We are above the 20, above the 50, and this is again pretty bullish sentiment out there. And again, this is also matching with the seasonality pattern, so no surprise to me there. Now, looking at the schedule, you would think it's a Tuesday. We must have quite a bit already, but no. We have a majority of the events are going to be rolling out starting tomorrow. Today, we had the US CPI. It could have been a market moving, but remember, the big movements happen when there's a surprise. It wasn't really a surprise. We saw a slight uptick in the month-over-month number, but overall, core was flat, and we were seeing the year-over-year number was down to 3.1%, which is also in line with expectation. Now, we go into the Fed tomorrow, and that's really what I think what's going to move the market. So tomorrow, I know in the morning we had the PPI, but I think that the FOMC is going to be the big one. And after that, we have the GDP and the employment report out of the Kiwi and the Aussie. So whatever happens with the USD or during the day, and we'll pretty much pair those things accordingly with the Aussie and the Kiwi. And after that, as you can see, tomorrow morning we have the S&P, we have the Bank of England, and we have the US retail sales. So next 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours is really busy and important. So make sure you're keeping the powder dry and looking for those big opportunities coming ahead. Now, looking at the overall the velocity scores, you can see that the velocity scores are not really a screaming buy or even a screaming sell. Remember, we discussed this in the currency room. We have a lot of currencies that are not looking that great. But remember, it's a pairs trading. You have to buy this short against something. So we have a lot of currencies that we want to sell. We just don't have a whole lot of currencies that we want to buy. And this is really where we are. Pretty mild scores, -1 with the Aussie and the Kiwi, and a +1 with the Euro and Swiss franc. And remember, this can change dramatically as we go into some of the central banks that are coming up in the remaining part of this week. So this is where stay flexible. Let's take a look at possible trades ahead and talk about some trades.
Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader?
And let's start with the USD basket today. So let's just talk about today's price action. You can see that there was a bit of a whipsaw this morning. We got a big candlestick right here. And for the rest of the day, we just didn't go anywhere. So this is, again, not the price action that you want to trade. Again, there's a lot of these small little candlesticks that are happening here. Again, it's just telling you the market just doesn't have that strong momentum. And that's why it's important to be active around these events. That's really where we are. We're not really getting a whole lot of volatility, and the movements that are coming, they're coming up with some catalysts that are in the markets. So that's really where we are with the dollar. But remember, like I said, a lot of the things are not looking the best. I mean, a good example is the Australian dollar. Well, if the markets are strong, look at that. Australian dollar is actually pretty weak, or it's sideways. Actually, you can just say sideways, but it's no longer in that bullish sentiment that it was just a couple of weeks ago. On the other hand, Kiwi's holding in, but I mean, take a look at that. It's not holding in that well. It's still going sideways, and it's not a strong momentum. So I just want to discourage traders to take positions when you're getting this kind of price action. And as we go into tomorrow, we have the US the FOMC. And I think that is going to be the big mover, regardless of whatever happens with the FOMC will say. In that case, I will be mostly paying close attention to dollar yen. You can see the dollar yen has that turn around. It's below the moving average here. If the dollar is going to turn, maybe you'll see a turn there. But right now, we're not really getting any sort of follow through. A lot of these candles are still not as bearish. It still doesn't seem like it's rolled over yet. But that's something to pay close attention to. Outside of that, I know we looked at this as franc. We looked at the euro, but like I said, this is where I don't want to spend too much time taking a look at the setups, but mostly just talk about with the FOMC tomorrow, whatever's going to happen. We'll be covering it live in the class to see what happens, and based on that, we can make adjustments. But yeah, there's definitely traders on both sides of that bet. Like I've said before, I'm not super bearish on the dollar. I'm not bullish on the dollar. I'm kind of right in the middle. I will see what happens whichever way it goes, but nothing really I can find that looks super bullish to me here. So in the next 24 hours, we'll just again be primarily focusing on the FOMC. Again, looking to plan to trade around these events, not really getting a whole lot of activity outside of it. So let's not spend too much of our precious pips and try to do something that's really not out there. So keep the powder dry overnight. We'll come back tomorrow. And like I said, I plan to be more active for the second half this week. So if things are quiet, doesn't mean it will stay quiet. So be ready, be on the lookout. Outside of that, stay outside in the cash and continue to watch the markets. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.